You are welcome to our channel. Don't forget to like, to share, and also to subscribe. There will be peace. Fubara thanks Tinubu for intervention in Rivers crisis. Suspended governor of Rivers State, Similaye Fubara, has expressed gratitude to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for his decisive intervention in the protracted political crisis rocking the state, crediting the president with preventing what he described as a descent into chaos. Speaking on Thursday during a meeting with leaders and stakeholders of his political family, the Simplified Movement, in Port Harcourt as part of events marking his 2 years in office. Fubara acknowledged that reconciliatory efforts were already underway between him and the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Chief Wike, his political predecessor and principal adversary in the ongoing crisis. We're already in the peace process, Fubara declared. He stated that I want you to thank Mr. President for his timely intervention to salvage the situation and stabilize the polity and the state. If not for Mr. President, the story today would have been different. He disclosed that several peace meetings had been held following the president's involvement, with some of the engagements taking place at the residence of the FCT minister. Addressing the frosty relationship between him and Wike, Fubara signaled a willingness to reconcile, saying, "There is no reason why there will not be peace between me and my Oga." He added, "There will be peace. We are meeting, we will reconcile." Fubara further expressed optimism about returning to his official duties, telling his supporters that he will return to office soon. President Tinubu has waded into the political standoff in Rivers State earlier this year, following months of tensions between Fubara and Wike's loyalists. The president suspended the governor, his deputy, the members of the House of Assembly for 6 months in an emergency rule setting. The emergency rule setting is what Fubara is, referring to as intervention of the president. But it's surprising that this is coming from the mouth of Fubara, who have some of his supporters fighting and bickering tooth and nail that the emergency rule is not supposed to be uncalled for, believing that it's like robbing Fubara and then trying to give winning power to Wike. Well, now Fubara has come out to speak otherwise, meaning that ab initio, probably there are certain things the supporters and even the general public didn't know that the president might have been talking to both parties and been explaining to them. But then we can remember vividly that the president in the first meeting with them spoke with Fubara to be the leader, to go home as a governor, to stabilize the polity and make sure said where we need he concede wherever he needs to concede, and also act as a father to make sure that things are properly put in perspective and restore peace and order. Specifically, the president used the word to negotiate wherever he needs to. So we know now that politics is give and take. There is no way you want to have your way fully in politics. You need to concede some areas, you will win some, you will lose some. But in this report today, we can see Fubara is the one speaking by himself and even appreciating the president that there won't have been peace if not for the intervention of the president in Rivers crisis. Let's just imagining what Fubara is trying to say. Let's picture a situation whereby the Jaw people continue to bomb the pipeline in different areas within Rivers State. How do you think that state will look like now? What is even going to happen to Nigeria and also the economy of the country at large? So it's a bigger picture. Like Fubara used to say, Rivers State is much more important than anybody's personal ambition, whether that of himself or his political allies or even his arch enemy and his predecessor and Oga, as he has said, the person of his own Wike, all the members of the State House of Assembly. The bigger picture is their state at large. That bigger picture subsume and swallow up every other individual ambition. So when Tugara was speaking on Thursday with leaders and stakeholders of his political family, the simplified movement, he specifically told them that his conciliatory efforts are already ongoing. They are underway between him and his Wike. Yes, he said we already have the peace in progress, and that is what we want for them. That let peace be restored to Rivers State because it's the only way that can make development to be rapid and also for it to come. If there is no peace and they have turned the place to a battleground, I know many secret cults are lurking around that area, trying to look for an opportunity to unleash mayhem in order to also establish themselves. But with the intervention of Mr. President and stern warning even to all parties, I like the fact that Mr. President wasn't sparing any. As he suspended Fubara, he suspended his deputy, he also suspended the arch enemy now, the men and the people following his on Wike, which are members of the House of Assembly, those the one that are in support of Wike and those who are not, completely. And to now surprise all of them, he brought in a neutral person, declaring the state of emergency, that thereby all this personal ambition and necessary acrimony, even from Wike, everything, the tire of the pomposity was deflated, because under the rulership of a retired vice marshal, what can Wike do? He can do outrightly nothing, because that man is not answerable to him. That's one. Number two, they are not mates. Number three, here is a retired general who understands combat, who understands security, he understands reconnaissance and every other thing that has to do with, security, intelligence, and the like. So I don't know what politics Wike will want to play around such a man that you won't take him down. And not only that, Fubara too, he is a novice even in the political atmosphere, and that's why Wike can pull him down. What can he do to a man who probably might be even old enough to be his father, or at least it might be their own last one if adventure is going to be a younger brother to the man? And not only that, this is a man that has seen life, he has retired, he has gotten to the peak of whatever he wants to become in life, because at that level of a vice admiral, if a military coup happens, he can be the head of state. So he's really in the same shape, as it were, with the president at par. But the only difference is that, well, he got to the peak of his career, and the extra of being the commander-in-chief wasn't added. Well, it won't be that for everyone. So the issue remains that none of them can face the man, and that is why President Bola Tinubu needed to be applauded by Fubara, because he called his intervention a timely intervention to salvage the situation and to stabilize the polity and the state. He said, if not for Mr. President, the story today would have been different. I'm imagining what will have been happening in Rivers State now, when everything is in chaos, bombing and killing and maiming, kidnapping and doing all sorts of things. And those who will be looting will continue to loot. And at the end of the day, the people will suffer. At least there's silence, there's peace. And then the administrator is in charge. And the people of Rivers State can at least go out and fend for themselves at least. Then, after that, the restoration of Fubara might come in the nearest future. Remember to like, to share, and also to subscribe to our channel. Thank you.